A single decision in 1938 reshaped American industry. General Motors set out to shrink diesel engines for every battlefield, highway, and harbor, and Detroit Diesel's indestructible two-strokes became legend. But how did a technology born to outlast war nearly vanish in peacetime? The answer lies in the untold origins of America's forgotten diesel empire. In January 1938, General Motors created the Detroit Diesel Engine Division with a single, ambitious purpose: to bring diesel power out of the realm of massive, slow-turning engines and into the everyday world of trucks, buses, and machines that moved America. At the time, diesel technology was locked behind cast-iron giants. These engines were so heavy and complex, they belonged in ships or factories, not on highways or job sites. Reliability was measured in tons, not miles. Most diesel engines ran at low speeds, required skilled operators, and demanded constant attention. Gasoline engines, by contrast, could be built quickly on assembly lines, swapped between vehicles, and serviced with basic tools. But they burned more fuel and wore out faster under heavy loads. General Motors leadership saw a gap, a market hungry for the efficiency and durability of diesel power, but desperate for something lighter, simpler, and easier to maintain. The company's answer was not just a new engine, but a new philosophy. Design a diesel that could be mass-produced like a car engine, with standardized parts, modular construction, and flexible configurations for any job. This approach borrowed lessons from the automotive world, where interchangeable components and high-speed assembly lines had already transformed manufacturing. The vision was clear: make diesel engines accessible, serviceable, and scalable enough to power not only the next generation of commercial vehicles, but also whatever challenges the future might bring. In the shadow of looming conflict and rapid industrial growth, Detroit Diesel set out to redefine what a diesel engine could be. The heart of Detroit Diesel's breakthrough was its modular approach, built around a single repeatable unit, 71 cubic inches of displacement per cylinder. Each cylinder shared the same 4.25-inch bore and 5-inch stroke. Whether arranged in a simple 2-cylinder inline or a massive 16-cylinder V. This standardization let engineers scale power for any job, from delivery trucks to heavy equipment, by simply adding more identical cylinders. Every engine shared the same basic parts: pistons, rods, injectors, streamlining both assembly and repairs. At the core of the design was the two-stroke diesel cycle. Unlike 4-stroke engines, which produce power only every other revolution, the Series 71 fired every time the crankshaft turned. This meant more power from a smaller, lighter engine, with fewer moving parts to wear out. Running a 2-stroke diesel cleanly and reliably required a solution for moving fresh air in and pushing spent gases out. Detroit Diesel's answer was the mechanically driven Roots-type blower. Instead of boosting performance, this positive displacement device forced fresh air through the cylinders, clearing exhaust and feeding the next combustion cycle. The blower's constant whir became a mechanical signature, but its real value was in making the 2-stroke cycle possible at high speeds and under heavy loads. Fuel delivery was just as innovative. Instead of a complex centralized pump, each cylinder received its own cam-actuated unit injector. This kept the fuel system simple, precise, and easy to service. Mechanics could swap a faulty injector with basic hand tools right in the field. Together, these choices: modular construction, 2-stroke operation, the Roots blower, and unit injectors created an engine that was not only powerful and compact, but ready for mass production and real-world use. By 1943, the Detroit diesel factories thundered day and night, turning out engines at a rate that stunned even the most seasoned industrial planners. That year alone, 57,892 Series 71 engines rolled off the lines, each one destined for the front lines of a global conflict. The workforce swelled to over 4,300, with more than 1,400 women stepping into roles once reserved for men, their hands guiding steel and precision parts down endless assembly lines. Every engine represented a promise, power that would not quit, no matter the conditions. Detroit diesel power plants found their way into the heart of the war's most essential machines. The M4A2 Sherman tank, backbone of Allied armored divisions, relied on twin 671 engines for mobility. Higgins landing craft, including the iconic LCVP that carried soldiers ashore on D-Day, ran on Detroit diesels, over 23,000 built to storm beaches across Europe and the Pacific. Patrol boats, field generators, and a staggering range of logistics vehicles all drew strength from the same modular design, scaled up or down to fit the mission. The sheer volume of output transformed Detroit diesel from an experiment into a wartime juggernaut. Assembly lines adapted on the fly, shipping engines in every configuration, singles, pairs, or quads, ready to power everything from tanks to tugboats. This industrial surge delivered not just engines, but a new kind of battlefield reliability, one that would soon be tested far from the safety of the factory floor. On muddy roads and shell-pocked fields, Detroit diesel's promise of real-world durability faced its hardest test. Mechanics and drivers, many with little more than a wrench roll and a battered manual, found themselves keeping engines running with whatever they had on hand. The Series 71's design made this possible. Each cylinder's unit injector could be swapped out in under 15 minutes, with no need to drain the fuel system or remove the head. A stuck or dripping injector meant a quick unbolt, a fresh part from a canvas bag, and the engine was back in service before the coffee cooled. The roots blower, so essential to the engine's breathing, sat right at the side of the block. If it started leaking or lost timing, a mechanic could pull the end cover, check the rotors, and reseal the unit without pulling the engine. These were not just theoretical advantages. They played out in muddy tank parks, on the decks of landing craft, and beside airstrips under fire. Field reports and post-war interviews tell of engines revived in the dark with flashlights and hand tools, of trucks rolling again after roadside injector swaps. This hands-on serviceability became a quiet legend, one built not on showroom promises, but on the confidence that even far from the factory, a Detroit diesel could be fixed fast and with tools any soldier could carry. When the war ended, Detroit diesel engines didn't return to the shadows. They powered into the heart of American daily life. City buses rumbled through downtown streets, fire engines stood ready in every station, and tugboats pushed freight along crowded harbors, all with the same unmistakable mechanical voice. Across construction sites, fishing docks, and long stretches of highway, the green engine blocks became a familiar sight, trusted by operators who valued a machine that could take punishment and come back for more. By 1965, Detroit diesel celebrated its 1 millionth engine, a milestone that spoke to the scale of its reach and the loyalty of its users. In factories and municipal garages, the sound of a two-stroke at full song became more than background noise. Mechanics and drivers began calling these engines Screaming Jimmies, a nickname born from the piercing whine that echoed off loading docks and city streets. For many, that sound meant power, reliability, and the pride of running a machine built to last. By the late 1950s, Detroit diesel engineering faced a changing landscape. The Series 53 arrived in 1957, built for highway trucks that needed lighter engines and better fuel economy. As industries grew, so did the demand for raw power. In the mid-1960s, the Series 149 appeared, a behemoth for mining and marine work, capable of producing more than 3,000 horsepower in its largest configurations. Into the 1970s, the Series 92 continued the two-stroke tradition, offering improved combustion and lower fuel consumption, but the world was shifting around them. Emissions regulations tightened and fuel prices soared. Two-stroke engines, once prized for their simplicity and punch, struggled to meet new standards. Competitors pushed forward with quieter, cleaner four-stroke designs, and Detroit Diesel faced new challenges. In 1987, Detroit Diesel unveiled the Series 60, a four-stroke engine with electronic controls, built from scratch to meet modern requirements. The company's ownership changed hands too. Penske joined as a partner in 1988, and Daimler acquired Detroit Diesel in 2000. By 1995, the last Series 71 rolled off the line, closing the era of the indestructible two-stroke and marking a moment of adaptation. Detroit Diesel's legacy endures wherever reliability matters more than novelty. Even now, thousands of these engines keep critical vessels and backup systems running worldwide, proof that true engineering outlasts trends. In an age of planned obsolescence, durability is still power. Thanks for watching. Share your thoughts in the comments below.